Well, you gotta turn that down, you know. Your father's turning on the television. Just letting him know. And if you start talking on the phone, you gotta leave
I
the
know.
room. I might have to go off of this because I can't. Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Take a quick attendance. Dana here. Laria. Kai. Ariana. Cassidy. Jacqueline. Jacqueline here. Jessica. Natalia.
Here.
Good. Zephia.
Here.
May. MY. Nicolette. Marley.
Here.
Margaret. I see Margaret. Alyssa. Brandon. Nancy.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Oh, I see
Here.
Nancy. I see her. Nicole. Lisa. Jordan. Mariah. Brenda. Morgan.
Here.
Catherine.
Here.
Megan.
Here.
Paige.
Here.
Paige is here. Okay. Amanda.
Here.
Very good. And Yen. I see Yen.
Yeah.
Anyone not sure whether I marked you in? Okay. All right, we are coming down to the wire. We have one more class, which is next Wednesday. So let us get started. I'm working on a rubric so I can easily grade your education project, and your diet analysis project is due next Wednesday, no later than 11:59 at night. So do a good job on your diet analysis project. I will also have a rubric where you can see exactly where you may have lost some of your points, and you can see exactly how your projects were graded. So I'm working on that. It will be easier for me to grade, and it will give you real good feedback. So I'm working on that. Let's see, let me share my screen. And we're looking at our course outline, and I'm going all the way to the bottom here. So after class, I will be posting test 5, which is on chapters 11, 12, and 13. 11, 12, and 13 is your water, your major minerals, and your trace minerals. So I will be posting that test today. It will close next Wednesday, May 5th at 11:59. I want to start on chapter 14. Chapter 14 talks about, we have presentations. So let me back up. We have at least 1, maybe 2 groups that will be presenting. I'll go and see who's due to present their lesson plans and their PowerPoint. So we're going to do that first. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about chapter 14, but then I want to start the nutrition care process. This is a separate PowerPoint that I will make sure is available to you, if not already published. From there, I'm going to go ahead and open up the extra credit area. So if you want to complete the 2 case studies and use the formulas to calculate, excuse me, ideal body weights, you'll see the calculations that I'll be going over that we use when we assess someone's nutritional status. So I will open up extra credit. And if you want to boost your grade, a little bit, you can definitely do that. I'll go over that a little bit more. That will be due next week. So I'll go over nutrition care process. I'll go review the nutrition care process next week, and I will make it available. And you have until May 12th to submit your extra credit. Okay. All right. So that's for those who want to participate. So that being said, let's go see who is going to be presenting. All right. Let me scroll down. Okay. So I know the group 9's presenting. Group 8. All right, those are the 2 groups that are presenting. So group 8, I have Morgan, Catherine, and Megan. Who's present to present for that group?
I think we all are here.
Oh, very good. Very good. And then after they present sports nutrition, hydration for high school athletes, then we're going to have Paige, Amanda, and Yen. Who's present to present for that group?
We're all here as well.
Very good. They're going to present why control weight gain during pregnancy. All right. So let's get started. Let me go to my assignments.
Excuse me, Prof. Just a very quick question.
Yes.
For the diet project, our answers from the first report, which says the daily intake versus the required intake, right?
That's a report, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're to upload that report. It's your actual intake compared to your recommended. You're also going to upload your My Plate, and you're going to upload the calories from your carbohydrates, protein, percentage of calories from carbohydrates, protein, fats. And then for your fats, it's going to show what percentage came from saturated fats, monounsaturated fats. Those are the 3 reports that you must submit with your complete typed questions and your answers in complete sentences. I don't want to see any yeses and nos and some number that you type up there for your answer. put everything in complete sentences, and you'll find that you will be answering the correct question. A lot of times, students aren't answering the question because they just posted something up there. And if they had read it back, they would say, okay, I'm not answering this question, or this is not the correct answer. So remember to do that. Let's go to my groups here. And again, I will be grading your projects very, very soon. I'm working on the rubrics. I'm almost done with that. All right, so these are groups that already presented. Going through. Make sure that, oh, I'm in the wrong thing. It's all right, I did that last week. Let me go back in here. Already gave you grades for that. Okay. I was wondering why it didn't look quite right to me. All right, again, there are some groups that just gave me their PowerPoints. Now, if you have the lesson plan well stated, like this group does, they're okay, all right? But if you did a PowerPoint that does not have your complete lesson plan in it, then you need to upload 2 documents. This group is good. All right, so let me get through. Probably should go this way. Okay. Okay, this is a group that's going to present, but I think this is my second group. All right, this is the group that, again, they did a good job. Let's go over their lesson plan first, and then we'll have them present their PowerPoint. And this is Megan, Catherine, and Morgan. I'll make it a little bigger. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to speak the lesson plan. So it's sports nutrition and hydration for high school athletes age 14 to 18. Our target audience is high school athletes ages 14 to 18. Statement of purpose. The purpose of this lesson plan is to teach high school athletes how to properly hydrate and have adequate nutrition to support their athletic activity. The goals: the students will be able to comprehend and understand the steps of how to have proper nutrition and hydration for their needs. Cognitive objectives: students will be able to explain how to fuel their body before, during, and after physical activity, and describe the benefits of having a well-balanced diet. Affective objectives: students will be able to discuss what specific foods are best fit to eat before, during, or after physical activity. Discuss the benefits of staying hydrated throughout the day. Psychomotor objectives: students will be able to apply their knowledge about the 6 essential nutrients to their everyday diet planning and calculate the number of nutrients that should be ingested and what times throughout the day. Anticipatory set, which is 5 minutes. The instructor will hand out a pretest. The pretest will include 1, questions about the importance of carbohydrates, 2, questions about what should be digested before and after a workout, and 3, how much water they think is necessary each day. Direct instruction will be 20 minutes. The instructor will advise students to flip over their pretest until the end of the presentation. The instructor will then go over the informational PowerPoint slides that discuss the importance of the 6 essential nutrients. The instructor will then go over how it is necessary to get the right amount of nutrients before, during, and after physical activity. She will talk about the importance of staying hydrated during these times and explain the exact amounts of these nutrients that need to be consumed. The students can then engage in a conversation about how they prepare for physical activity and also can discuss what changes they can make to their habits. Guided practice is next, which will be 10 minutes. The instructor will give out a worksheet filled with workout times, and students will fill out what they think the athlete will need to drink and eat, and at what times before, after, and during the workout. They will write about what they learned on the worksheet. Students can then compare answers with the class and discuss the different types of foods that can be beneficial. Closure, which will be 5 minutes. The instructor will then step in and go over the answers with the class, correcting any students who need help. The instructor will also make a list of good alternative foods that the class came up with. Independent practice, which will be 5 minutes. Instructor will hand out a new copy of the pretest for students to complete. Then we'll go over the answers with the class. Assessment, which will be 5 minutes also. Instructor will send students home with the same timed workout sheet from before so students can fill it out for their own workouts. And the required materials and equipment, lesson plan and PowerPoint presentation, pencil, pretest, timed workout sheets, and take-home versions of the timed workout sheet.
Excellent. You've left me speechless. I have no recommendations for improvement. Very well done. So well done that I could just visualize that presentation as you were going through the lesson plan. A well done lesson plan is really, I would say, a good 90% of your work, because now you just put those pieces together because your plan is there. I'm very pleased. I've seen an improvement every week with each group, meaning you're listening, you're paying attention. What I want is for you to take away, the proper way to write a lesson plan. Even from the very beginning, beautiful job, just little minor things that I recommended so that that group would learn and improve, and for other groups to be able to improve. Okay, here is their PowerPoint. So let's quickly have them present that.
Okay, I guess I'll start with that. And then maybe halfway through, if Morgan wants to take over.
Good.
Okay, so we did sports nutrition and hydration for high school athletes ages 14 through 18. And so the first thing is, why do we eat? We eat for energy, for survival, to prevent and treat disease because it tastes good, to build stronger muscles and bones, to store things, and to socialize. Then let's talk about the 6 essential nutrients. We have the macronutrients, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and water. And nutrition and hydration. Nutrition and hydration play a significant role in helping high school athletes perform at an optimal level. Fueling and hydrating for performance must be done before, during, and after training, and you need to eat to compete. So your diet and hydration should keep you healthy and help you get the best performance. And then fueling the athlete, carbohydrates is essential for fueling the athlete. And the importance of carbohydrates, they're stored as glycogen in the muscle, but the preferred major source of energy. They are broken down rapidly. They are important in maximal exercise. And what happens when carbohydrate intake is too low? There's a decreased athletic performance. You can have muscle loss and you can have fatigue. So carbohydrates for energy and hydration. 2 to 3 hours before a game, you should have some complex, slow, steady carbs, such as oatmeal or a whole wheat bread. And then 30 to 60 minutes before, you want to have some simple, quick release carbs like a banana or maybe a granola bar. And then protein. Protein is essential for growth and repair. Okay, so growth and repair. And protein needs change as we grow. So you need 0.85 grams per kilograms a day in the 14 to 18-year-old, and that's just a little bit different between the ages of 4 and 13. After your games, you want to ingest 12 to 20 grams within 30 minutes, and that's going to keep your muscle glycogen making, okay, I had a little typo there. Think of eating something like yogurt, eggs, chicken, fish, or tofu. And then fats. Fats are energy and function. It's energy at rest. So fats are important when you're doing lower intensity activities such as walking or even studying. And fats are vital for keeping your hormones healthy, your brain health, and they fight inflammation. Okay. Water and hydration. So our fuels are going to travel through water, so it's essential that we get enough water. And cooling down is maintained through drinking enough water. And kids have to remember that they produce more heat and they have a higher sweat threshold. So before, during, and after exercise, it is essential that you drink enough water. So we recommend 5 ounces every 20 minutes and 8 ounces every 20 minutes during exercise. Okay, Morgan, if you want to take over here.
Okay, so the importance of hydration, the human body can be up to 60% water. Your bodily fluids that do things like aid in digestion, transport nutrients throughout your body, and much more will not be able to function without water. In the case of sports, hydration is even more important because it can bring down your core body temperature so you do not overheat and suffer from a heat stroke. And you can lose a lot of water by sweating while doing physical activity, so it is important to always stay hydrated. Pre-activity snack and hydration. The goal is to provide adequate carbohydrate, energy, and optimal hydration. So 30 to 60 grams of easily digestible carbohydrates, moderate in protein, low in fiber and fat. You should drink 5 to 16 ounces of water or sports drink. An example of a pre-activity snack would be a banana and peanut butter, yogurt and a small amount of granola, cereal and milk, or a granola bar. Okay, pre-game nutrition and hydration. You have to eat to compete. It takes 1 to 4 hours for food to leave your stomach. High carb foods are digested quickly, and high protein foods can increase water requirements. So food high in fat can stay in your stomach for more than 4 hours. So the best choice for pre-game meals is something high in carbs, which is easy to digest and comes quick energy. And tips to meet your hydration needs. Practice drinking during training sessions. Your body adjusts to tolerate more fluids. Drink small volumes frequently and start early. Large volumes at once are not tolerated as well. Drink before you are thirsty. Thirst is not a good indicator of hydration status. Palatable beverages increase consumption, like flavored beverages and cool beverages. Then we have some pictures. So the key electrolytes for exercise, we start with sodium. It's key for muscle contraction, and large amounts lost of it can lead to muscle cramps. Potassium is critical for muscle and nerve function, along with heart and kidney health. Chloride is essential for fluid balance in the body and is lost with sodium in sweat. Magnesium is key for energy production in the body and helps provide oxygen to the muscles. Phosphate helps build protein for muscle growth, along with digesting carbs to make energy in the body. There are many sports drinks that can help replace these electrolytes lost from exercise. So this is just showing that when you sweat, you lose some of those electrolytes and you have to replenish them. These are the top 4 healthy sports drinks. We have Numa Organic Electrolyte Drink, the non-sports electrolyte drink tablets, which provide an electrolyte boost without tons of extra calories and carbs. Gatorade, which has an electrolyte and carbohydrate base, which is essentially what is lost after sweating. And the Ultima Replenisher Electrolyte Hydration Power, which provides 6 different electrolytes such as magnesium, potassium, sodium, chloride, calcium, and phosphate. Post-game nutrition and hydration. After the game, athletes should eat a high-protein meal that contains poultry, meats, and fish. When an athlete competes, they break down muscle and the protein helps repair it. Within an hour after the game, kids should enjoy another snack such as a fruit or, if available, chocolate milk, because chocolate milk has a 4-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein. It's the perfect combination to help with post-game recovery. Hydration is important, but caution must be used to not overhydrate. That's where sports drinks can come in handy. You can overhydrate with plain water, but sports drinks will replenish those electrolytes that water dilutes. And then I believe we have a video to show at the end.
Let's see. It may not play, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't see it. That's okay. Nice job. As you were going through this PowerPoint, what a wonderful review for your test that's getting ready to open. Your water, your minerals, just excellent job. The class should thank this group for going over those nutrients for you. Nicely done, nicely done. It also covers the chapter on exercise and physical activity. So again, excellent job. Very, very nicely done. Let me move to my next group. And I think I go this way. I think. Yes, all right. Let's see, they uploaded their lesson plan. So we'll have them present that first. Okay, I'll make it a little bigger. Okay.
So I'm gonna start the lesson plan. Why control weight gain during pregnancy? The target audience, pregnant women aged 20 to 35. The statement of purpose. The purpose of this lesson is to teach pregnant women how to control weight gain during pregnancy and educate them as to why it is beneficial to their baby health as well as their own. The goals: students will understand the importance of monitoring weight gain during pregnancy and will know the harmful effect the gaining an efficient or excessive amount of weight will potentially have on the mother and baby. The cognitive objective: the student will be able to identify the health complication associated with gaining an inadequate amount of weight during pregnancy, describe the effect that gaining more than the recommended weight for one BMI have on the delivery process, state the brand of weight gain considered healthy for individuals belonging to the same BMI category. Effective objective: students will be able to engage in discussion about monitoring weight gain while eating intuitively, make better choice in determining meals and snacks, choosing more nutrient-dense options, and supplementing in areas their diet may be lacking. Psychomotor objective: students will able to explain the benefit of following an active lifestyle during pregnancy, demonstrate the ability to replace food craving and aversion with more nutrient-dense food for the baby and mother. Anticipatory set, which is 5 minutes. Instructor will hand out a pre-test. The pre-test will include a simple calculation for all participants to calculate their own BMI. The question regarding how much weight they believe they should gain during pregnancy, how much weight they believe the average woman gains during pregnancy, how many additional calories they expect to consume through each trimester of the pregnancy. A questionnaire about no condition associated with undergoing undergaining and overgaining weight during pregnancy. Direct instruction, which is 20 minutes. Instructor will present a slideshow discussing weight gain and calorie surplus to ensure a healthy pregnancy based on pre-pregnancy PMI, health complications to mother and baby associated with failing to meet the recommended weight gain during pregnancy, health complications to mother and baby associated with gaining more than the recommended weight during pregnancy, lifestyle factors that contribute to a healthy pregnancy, recommendation to increase nutrient density in food when experiencing food craving and aversion, vitamin to supplement through for vegetarian, vegan, and omnivorous women. For the guide practice, which is 10 minutes, pregnant women will be grouped together and will discuss craving and aversions. Group will come up with a list of more nutrient-dense alternative to the most common craving and substitution to aversion that they can incorporate into their diet to help them better control their weight gain. Closure, 5 minutes. Participants will watch an educational video that discusses weight gain during pregnancy, common misconceptions, and complications associated with gaining too much weight during pregnancy. Independent practice. The instructor will hang out a second copy of the pretest for students to take now that they have a better understanding of the topic. Assessment and follow-up. Students will be asked to fill out a survey 1 week after the presentation to see if they were consciously making more mindful decision and see if they feel well aware of the complication that could result from improper weight gain. Required material and equipment, pretest, laptop or device to assess presentation, why control weight gain during pregnancy, PowerPoint, how much weight should you gain during pregnancy video, and post-presentation surveys.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Another well done lesson plan. Let me go to your PowerPoint and you can quickly present your PowerPoint.
Okay, so why control weight gain during pregnancy? Let's see. Welcome and congratulations. Before we get started, let's calculate your body mass index. To calculate BMI, divide your height by your weight squared. So then we just showed, a little example of how to do
calculate.
that. Yep. So why is it important to control weight gain? Controlling weight gain is the first step in a healthy pregnancy. It is one factor that is in your control. Tracking weight gain regularly lets you know if you should increase or decrease your daily calorie intake. Helps you to know when to ask for help and if it would be best to reach out to a healthcare provider or a dietitian for guidance moving forward. You are never in, that was a typo, I guess, but we meant to say you're never in this alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much weight will you gain? This is based on your body mass index before pregnancy. So BMI is a measure of body fat calculated from weight and height. If before pregnancy you were underweight, which was your BMI less than 18.5, you should gain about 28 to 40 pounds. If you were at a normal weight, BMI between 18.5 and 24.9, you should gain about 25 to 35 pounds. If you were overweight with a BMI of 25 to 29.9, you should gain about 15 to 25 pounds. And if you were considered obese with a BMI greater than or equal to 30, you should be gaining about 11 to 20 pounds. Okay, if you're pregnant with twins, obviously you should be gaining a little bit more weight. So the recommendations would be underweight, you should be gaining about 56 to 62 pounds, normal weight, 37 to 54 pounds, overweight, 31 to 50 pounds, and obese, 25 to 42 pounds. Okay, calorie surplus per trimester. Your first trimester, your body does not need to be in a calorie surplus, so you will likely experience nausea and morning sickness, making it difficult to pack on extra calories into your day. Second trimester, you should be adding an additional 340 calories per day, and in your third trimester, an additional 450 calories per day would be ideal. Okay, so this would mean your first trimester, you should be eating about 1,800 calories per day. Your second trimester, about 2,200 calories per day, and your third trimester, about 2,400 calories per day. So on average, 48% of women gain more weight than recommended. 1 in 5 women gain 40 pounds or more during pregnancy. This is more than any woman should be gaining in a healthy pregnancy, unless, of course, you're having more than one baby. Only about 1/3 or 32% of women gained the recommended amount of weight during pregnancy, and 21% of women gain less weight than recommended. So, what could happen if I don't gain enough weight? That can negatively affect your baby's health. Baby is often born too small or too early if you're not gaining enough weight. Some babies born too small may have difficulty starting breastfeeding. They may have increased risk for illness, may experience developmental delays, which means they're not meeting their milestone for their age, or they may suffer growth restrictions in the uterus. Okay, still, what could happen if I don't gain enough weight? As far as the mother, she could experience longer postpartum recovery, putting her bone health at risk, increased risk for nutritional deficiencies like anemia. For women who have a BMI of 40 or higher, gaining less than the recommended amount or losing weight during pregnancy might lower the risk of a C-section or having a baby significantly larger than average. Also, potentially increase the risk for having a baby whose weight is smaller than expected for gestational age. What could happen if I gain too much weight? So the potential effects on the baby could be increased risk for birth defects. The baby can be significantly larger than average. It could have impaired growth, childhood asthma, childhood obesity. Great. And then as far as delivery complications, the baby may be born too large, resulting in vaginal tears, excessive bleeding, an increased need for a C-section. Higher risk for miscarriage or stillbirth can increase the amount of weight you hold onto after pregnancy and can lead to obesity. Right. And then as far as the mother's health, if she gains too much weight during the pregnancy, it could lead to preeclampsia, high blood pressure, more prone to gestational diabetes. There's a higher likelihood of developing varicose veins, achy joints, and heartburn. Extra weight puts pressure on the body overall, which would make it harder for the blood and fluids to move inside, which just makes it harder for the mother to move around on the outside. This can also trigger leg cramps, hemorrhoids, backaches, and physical exhaustion. All right, and then a big one is the preeclampsia. So the complications of preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is a progressive disorder. After the initial symptoms, in about 20% of women, complications can occur. These complications include, for the mother, placental abruption, organ damage, hemostatic disorders and major hemorrhage, stroke or cerebral bleeding, seizures, death, or higher risk of cardiovascular disease later in life. And as far as the baby, it could give the baby low birth weight, preterm birth, death, or a higher risk of cardiovascular disease in later life. Let's see, positive effects of staying within a healthy weight range. Getting closer to a healthy weight before conception increases the chance of the baby being healthy at birth and into adulthood. Rather than recommending that you gain a specific amount of weight during pregnancy, your healthcare provider might encourage you to focus on avoiding excessive weight gain during the pregnancy. And I think Amanda is going to take over from here.
Yeah, I'll pick it up from here. So for a healthy pregnancy, you need to remember that sufficient weight gain helps to ensure the health of both the baby and the mother. So diet and exercise is key here. So eating a well-rounded diet with all the right nutrients and getting at least 30 minutes of exercise per day is important for a healthy pregnancy. All right, so some lifestyle factors that contribute to a healthy pregnancy. So the first is exercise. So women should aim for at least 2.5 hours or 150 minutes of exercise a week. Obviously, if you're bedridden or you have certain medical conditions, there are exceptions, and it's probably not a good idea if you exercise, so consult your doctor. But despite popular misconceptions, exercise is an important factor in a healthy pregnancy. It actually lessens back pain, decreases constipation, and lowers the risk of gestational diabetes. All right, so some more lifestyle factors. Try to maintain a sense of normalcy. If employed, you should try to work for at least 15 weeks into your pregnancy. And I actually read a really interesting study in New Zealand and the UK that showed women working at least 15 weeks into pregnancy showed less risk of complications throughout the pregnancy. But keeping up with that lifestyle is going to put you in a better place mentally and oftentimes physically. So even just showering and getting dressed daily helps to promote productivity in your life. All right. Other big one is focusing on lowering your stress levels, because stress and pregnancy do not go hand in hand. So avoid activities or environments that will raise your stress levels. So if for you work is stressful, maybe don't work 15 weeks. That's a case-by-case situation. And lowering your stress levels will lessen your chance of complications. Focus on self-care routines that help you to feel more at ease and help you to cope with stress. And that's different for everyone. But just make sure you have time to set out to relax and recoup. All right, another important one is to stay connected to others. So have a nice network of close friends or support group that will help you to feel less alone and help you know your concerns are valid and often shared with others. So just being around family, being around friends, talking to women who've been through the same thing or are currently going through the same thing will definitely help. All right, obviously eating well-balanced meals is a big one. So focusing on consuming the majority of nutrients directly from food will ensure that vitamins and minerals are more easily absorbed into your bloodstream. So eating balanced meals can also reduce nausea and constipation. Okay, so how do I deal with cravings? Because this is obviously a big one when it comes to weight gain during pregnancy. And it's important to practice intuitive eating. It's important in a healthy lifestyle before, during, and after pregnancy. So you can eat foods from all the food groups, even ones that aren't considered the most healthy, but you need to be mindful of the portion size. Like eating smaller amounts of non-nutrient dense foods such as fried foods, baked foods like chips, things that you know aren't as good for you. Try to eat smaller portion sizes and combine them with other things so that you're still getting protein, you're still getting healthy carbs, healthy fats. And that's all about aiming for balance. So pack in those vitamin-rich fruits and vegetables. And for some people, it's going to be better to eat multiple smaller meals during the day. And look for healthier alternatives of the foods you crave. So in the next slide, we go through some healthier alternatives. So if you're craving chocolate, have a chocolate yogurt, maybe a single serving frozen fudge pop, nutrition bar, chocolate protein shake. You can put avocado in there, banana, different things to get some nutrients into your body. Instead of jelly beans, have trail mix. You can get some protein from the nuts and different antioxidants from dried fruits. Instead of potato chips, you'll still get crunch and a little salt from popcorn, rice cakes. And if you're craving donuts, you probably just need some good carbs. So for me, I know I love baked goods, so almond flour is a great substitution. You can get some extra protein while also satisfying your craving, getting a little bit of calcium. So it's just really good to look into alternatives. Next slide, we have alternatives to aversions. So if there's certain foods that are really like making you sick that we still need to get nutrients from. So instead of meat, look at low-fat yogurt, low-fat milk, cheeses, beans, nuts, tofu, because protein is really important for growth and development. Yeah, any kind of protein, just try to disguise it in something. Sauces, that can really help. Green leafy vegetables, you can opt for beta-carotene-rich fruits, peaches, apricots, tropical fruits, things of that nature. So if you're vegetarian or vegan, supplementation is even more important than for mothers who are omnivorous. So especially talk to your dietitian about folate, vitamin B12, iron, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, iodine, and vitamin D. Some foods to limit or avoid high mercury seafood. I name a few: big eye tuna, king mackerel, swordfish, and shark probably shouldn't be consumed, but omega-3 fatty acids are really important. They help support eye and brain development in your growing baby. So it is important, don't avoid seafood entirely, just be mindful of mercury levels and how much you're consuming each week. And no sushi, no raw fish. Big no-no. Other things are undercooked eggs, poultry, meat. You're at a higher risk for bacterial food poisoning. And the same goes with unpasteurized foods. Caffeine consumption, it's always good to limit that. And I also read another study that it found women who consume more caffeine, like a half a cup or more, birthed smaller infants. So that's just something to consider. And obviously no alcohol and no smoking. Big risks with that. And then we just talk a little bit about some vitamins. Iron and folate levels are really important for fetal development, and they contribute to your overall health. 40% or more pregnant women become anemic. So it's very important that your food choices are thinking about your iron and folate and what foods you can eat to increase that, as well as supplementation. You can eat foods like dark leafy greens, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, asparagus, citrus fruits, and calcium is also important for strong bones. Dairy products, orange juice, collard greens, and chia seeds are good sources. And we talk about vitamin D, helps your body to better absorb that calcium that you need, contributes to the growth of the baby's bones and teeth. It's found in fatty fish like salmon, egg yolks, and fortified cereals. Iodine is also very important. It supports the development of the baby's nervous system, and it's not found in all prenatal vitamins, so that's important to supplement differently. Dairy products are good, fortified grains and cereals, and iodized salt can help. And omega-3 fatty acids are important for eye and brain development, and you should try to consume at least 8 to 12 ounces of seafood a week. And this was a video. I don't know if it will play, probably not.
We'll see.
Oh, it does.
Can you hear it?
Oh, no,
Can't hear?
no.
All right, wait a minute. I have to share my sound. Come on. Where is it? Share computer sound. There we go. Now you should be able to hear it.
To gain as much weight as we thought they
Can you
did.
hear?
I did gain a lot of weight with my first pregnancy, 60 pounds with my first. So this time around, I am a lot more educated on that stuff. So I've been watching and eating healthy.
The amount of weight you should gain during your pregnancy is not standard for everyone. It depends on the weight that you're starting at.
If you're starting at a healthy weight at the beginning of your pregnancy, then your goal is to gain about 25 to 35 pounds throughout the pregnancy. Most people don't have a problem with this, and if anything, most people gain too much weight.
If you're starting off above your ideal body weight, then you're looking at gaining between 10 to 20 pounds during the entire pregnancy.
And I would say the pattern of weight gain is probably more important, and what you're eating is more important than the actual weight gain.
To break that down, a lot of women will gain between 1 and 5 pounds in the first trimester and then about a pound a week afterwards.
The first time around with my son, everybody was like, don't worry, eat for 2. That's what you're, go ahead. This time around, if I feel full, I stop.
So there have been a lot of old wives' tales about having to eat for 2. The reality is that a woman really only needs an additional 300 calories per day during the course of her pregnancy to maintain good nutritional support for the fetus.
Instead of paying a lot of attention to the number, the biggest thing is to pay attention to eating a healthy diet.
I didn't realize food was such a big part of pregnancy. You hear stories all the time of women eating whatever they want when they're pregnant, and whatever they're craving, you can just have. And I didn't realize you had to be careful and that you had to eat healthy, and everything you put in your body matters. And so that's something that I'm still learning.
If you gain too much weight during the pregnancy, then you do put yourself and your pregnancy at risk. You have increased risks of things like preterm labor, problems during the labor, increased risk of C-section, increased risk of gestational diabetes, which can put your baby at risk after the baby's born as well.
The ultimate outcome, of course, we're looking for is a healthy baby and a healthy mom, and those still happen even when you don't gain weight. It's very difficult to lose weight, as anybody knows, but especially after having a baby. Your sleep is interrupted often, and it makes it difficult to follow a proper diet and exercise. So holding your weight at the proper level during pregnancy is vital.
Very nice. Where's that X? Nicely done. Let me see. Okay, I think we're good. I don't want to go completely out, and I think we're almost there. Okay.
Yeah, this is the last slide. All right, so just important things to remember. No BMI, and you need to increase calorie surplus. Be aware of the signs and symptoms of gestational diabetes, and do talk to your doctor with concerns. Do your best to get 30 minutes of exercise 5 to 7 days a week. Make sure to take care of your mental health and keep friends and family close by. Talk to your dietitian about supplementation, and know that you're never alone in this journey.
Nice job. Another well-done presentation. Good review again, preparing you for your test. You're also getting information that that's in your textbook that I won't necessarily be able to lecture on. So thank you, groups, for giving us so much information. The first group, just going over the need for water. You focused a lot on your minerals. This group focused on overall nutrients. Both groups did. Reviewed your 6 nutrients. Well done. We got some life cycle nutrition in, which is important to be able to take our nutrients and see that we all need the same nutrients throughout our life cycle, but those needs are altered, particularly during pregnancy. Just that need for additional water, the need to gain weight, but not excessive weight. It seems like you're contradicting yourself when you're talking to someone who's pregnant. oh, I want you to gain weight, but I don't want you to gain too much weight. And after a while, they're saying, well, what am I supposed to do? This group did a good job focusing on nutrient-dense foods. And that's important not only for pregnant women, but for anyone who wants to control their calories. Nutrient dense. And that's basically what I do in my life. You know, I focus on what food can I enjoy, get my nutrients, but not all these high calories. And that's the key, because you're supposed to enjoy eating. Okay, you know, we can't do without eating, so you might as well enjoy eating, but a little bit of energy in your food is good. Once in a while, cookie, cake, treat yourself, but the problems arrive with excessive. Beautiful, beautiful jobs. Both teams, we ended really strong with a bang. Very, very good job. Anybody have any comments or questions for your groups? This was very, very well done. Very well done. What I want to spend the next 15 minutes or so, and I'll pick up next week, particularly, well, this is information that I want my dental hygiene majors to take into their profession, is that they have to do assessments also. But I do want to introduce you to the nutrition care process. My dietetic technician students, this is one of their introductories on how do you go about assessing someone's nutritional status. So let me get to that area. Let me scroll all the way near the bottom. Let's see. Okay, here we are. I am going to post this, publish this, so you can now see the PowerPoint on nutrition care process. I will start that now. This is where you would want to go if you want that extra credit by completing case study number 1 and case study number 2. Here's a practice case study. So you can practice, and I am not going to post those answers. I'm not going to give you that much information right now, okay? So what I'm going to do is post the answers sometime next week, but I do want you to complete the practice. I want everybody to practice, and then if you want that extra credit, you can definitely submit that in Canvas assignments. So I just want to get started. I wanted my presenting groups to take their time, because we definitely learned from both presentations. A good review on information. Okay, so this is now published and available for you. Nutrition care process, just a little history about nutrition care process. We started this around 2006. So we've been a number of years incorporating nutrition care process. It was something to get used to. I'm from, I've been a registered dietitian since back in the early 1980s. So the nutrition care process was new for many of us that had been completing nutrition assessments prior to them introducing nutrition care process. I do want you to remember that there are 4 steps involved in the nutrition care process. Our first step is the nutrition assessment. And there are at least 5 steps in this nutrition assessment. I'll name them, and then the PowerPoint should also include them. One area of assessment is the historical information, someone's diet history, medical history, family history. So we're collecting everything we can about that individual. Things, if they are into fad dieting. So we just assess, things in their past, current things that they are doing, all right? Another, not only historical information, anthropometric measurement. That is their height, their weight. When it comes to infants, we measure the circumference of their head. We'll measure their chest circumference. So for infants, we will take additional measurements, but for adults, we typically need height and weight. And we want accurate heights and weight. Then from there, we can calculate the BMI. We had a group that did a beautiful job with BMI, beautiful job. And we will be calculating BMI. We have the formula in this PowerPoint. So anthropometric measurements for the average adult, height and weight. Then we can calculate BMI. We can ask what's your usual weight. Usual weight is much, much more important than someone's ideal body weight. Because if someone has recently gained weight, that can be a sign of a medical condition. Or they recently lost weight and it was unplanned weight loss. That would be very significant to identify medical problems. Another part of assessment would also be intake. And you actually was involved in one of the ways to measure someone's intake. You recorded everything that you consumed for 3 consecutive days. So recording your intake is one way of getting a record. We can have a questionnaire designed that we can ask individuals, out of the 7 days of the week, how many days do you consume, beef? How many days do you consume chicken or fish? How many days do you consume fruits and vegetables? So it's a questionnaire that we can get a good overall picture of how you would eat. We can also observe someone eating. And we can also, I'm missing one, observing. You can record what you eat, questionnaire, 24-hour recall. I do the 24-hour recall a lot, where I just simply ask that person, tell me everything all the foods, all your beverage, be specific and what that food was and approximately how much. And again, recall is not easy for individuals because sometimes people just don't think when they eat, but it helps them with being more mindful. Think before you eat, think about it. Don't just jump in there because that's when people tend to get into troubled waters, consuming too much, consuming, food that's not nutrient dense, that's way higher in calories than they should. So that's that intake. So I went over historical information. I talked about anthropometric measurements, intake. Another area would be physical examination. And typically we will look at the physician's examination and nurses' physical examination sheets. But over the years, they have developed a nutrition assessment. So as a dietitian, I can do a physical assessment. I will put on gloves and I will lightly touch the temporal area, and it should be some padding. There should be some muscle there. But if someone has a indentation, it's deep, that means they've had some muscle loss. It's a sign of malnutrition. We also look in the cheek area to see if they have good padding, if that's sunken in. Then we go down to the collarbone, and then we feel in the rib area. But we go all the way down, and we can pick up signs of muscle loss, which would be a sign of malnutrition. We can also pick up with fluid retention if they have edema in their lower extremities. If, of course, skin breakdown, generally I pick up from the nurse's assessment, physician's physical assessment. I think I covered those areas of assessment. Once we've done that complete assessment, we most likely identified a nutrition problem. And that nutrition problem is the nutrition diagnosis. It's not a medical diagnosis. A medical diagnosis would be diabetes, it would be cardiovascular disease, kidney disease. We can go on and on with medical diagnoses. Examples of nutrition diagnoses would be excessive energy intake. That means someone's just consuming more calories than they're expending. You know, they either need to increase their physical activity, but definitely look at lowering the calories in their diet. It could be obesity. So if we look at someone's BMI, and if they have a 30 or higher BMI, that could be their nutrition diagnosis. Overweight, underweight, abnormal laboratory values, if someone's glucose level is elevated, if their cholesterol level is elevated. So those are just some examples, but we have a lot of nutrition diagnoses. From that diagnosis, we come up with a PES statement. The P stands for problem. The E means etiology, the cause, what's causing that problem. And then the S, signs and symptoms. Signs and symptoms would be their weight, the fact that they had abnormal glucose levels. They're measurable. We talked about objectives. We need measurable verbs. We measure signs and symptoms. Blood pressure can be measured, weight can be measured. In children, of course, if you're still growing, height can be measured. You can measure intake, how much someone's consuming. So PES statement is in that area for the nutrition diagnoses. Next step, nutrition intervention. That's when we come up with what we're going to put into action. If someone's consuming excessive energy, therefore we would, intervention would be to educate them on, healthier food choices, focusing on more nutrient-dense foods versus energy-dense foods. Exercising would be an intervention. Each one of these groups had very clear interventions. With the group that presented, the sports, hydration, what foods to consume prior to exercise, what foods to consume after, that's all intervention. And intervention starts with education. How is someone going to know what to do if you don't give them information? Those tools that you gave them, handouts and literature that they can take home and continue reading and practicing. Intervention, if you look at your lesson plan, you can see that it's very, what we say, informative, because that's a lesson plan. You're teaching. So that's your intervention. Then you go back. The last step is monitor and evaluation. If it was that weight gain that was the problem, excessive energy intake, then we go back and we look at their weight. We look at how much exercise they're now incorporating, okay? And it is a cycle. I'm supposed to be going to the next one. Okay, this is just incorporating all of the information that we need to put into our nutrition assessment. A lot of this I already touched on, okay? I already went over that first step of the nutrition care process, nutrition assessment. I told you about historical information, anthropometric data, physical examination. I missed biochemical analysis, laboratory values, okay? So yes, we look at lab values. Some people think, oh, just the doctor looks at lab values, or maybe just the nurse looks at lab values. No, dietitians, we look at lab values, glucose levels, we look at cholesterol levels, triglyceride levels, electrolyte levels. Again, you are what you eat, and it does show up in your blood work. So again, a lot of those nutrients we can identify in excessive or whether you're deficient based on your blood work. So that's another part of our assessment. And what's missing here is intake. So there are 5 areas: historical information, anthropometric measurements, the physical examination, biochemical, which is laboratory tests, and intake. So there are 5 parts of the assessment. Before we do an assessment, individuals need to be screened. In many of our settings, not everyone has a identifiable nutrition problem, so they are screened. Once they have been screened, and screening is determining if someone is malnourished or is at risk for malnutrition. And this is just some examples of looking at historical data, their physical examination, anthropometric measurements, biochemical analysis, their intake. And if we see any problems there, it would most likely show up as like their intake. I look at their intake and I say, wow, this person's very monotonous. Every day they eat hot dogs. I actually did have several clients over my years that would just eat hot dogs, okay? Or they drank a lot of Mountain Dew, or, you know, it's just something that they ate every day, and, you know, they really lack variety in their diet, or they're on some type of fad diet, and they're taking it to extremes, okay? Everything, and that's that low carb diet. I have, you know, clients that have taken that to extremes. So again, that's just looking at intake. Doing a physical exam if they have any dermatitis, dry skin. Of course, if their weights, BMI indicate obesity or being underweight, and looking at laboratory values, maybe it's the hemoglobin hematocrit levels are low, showing that they have possible iron deficiency anemia. And then, of course, there are further tests, follow-up, but definitely this person needs a complete nutrition assessment. So that's a little bit about screening. I went over historical information. This is one of the steps in the assessment process. Health history, socioeconomic history, drug history, diet analysis, just going over what their typical intake has been over the years. These are all factors that we look at in someone's life: their role in their family, their occupation, educational level, cultural, religious beliefs, physical activities, functional status, cognitive abilities, and their housing situation. There are so many factors that has an impact on someone's nutritional status. Here's anthropometric measurements. Height and weight is definitely needed in order to calculate desired body weights, ideal body weights, usual body weights. I mentioned head circumference when it comes to infants. We can take mid-arm circumference, skin fold thickness to determine someone's percentage of lean muscle mass, determine if someone's, wasting, they're losing muscle mass, which is a form of malnutrition. I am going to stop here. Next week, I will pick up on calculating ideal body weight. Study this PowerPoint so that next week you've already, covered the information. We can practice next week, calculating male, female, ideal body weights. Here's some examples. We can practice calculating someone's percent IBW, ideal body weight, percent usual body weight. So I have the formulas. We're going to practice at least one of these formulas for men or women, calculating their basal calories, how many calories they need at rest using the Harris-Benedict formula. And after you calculate someone's basal calories, again, how many calories they need at rest, how many calories do they need for physical activity? So we add additional calories for physical activity, and we use, this particular chart. And then we're going to calculate not ideal body weights, BMIs, body mass index. This is the formula. One group had their formula, and they were, showing, I think it was during the pregnant women. We had that presentation. Both groups had a lot of good information. We're going to look at the difference between central obesity and visceral fat, some information and physical examinations. So go over this PowerPoint. I've already went over problem, etiology, signs and symptoms. So at the beginning, I covered quite a bit in this PowerPoint, but next week we're going to pick up with our calculations. Any questions? Good class, very, very good class. Thank you, my two groups, for a beautiful presentation. Any questions? Everyone have a beautiful day. I heard we were supposed to be in the 80s today, so go out and get some vitamin D. The sun is peeking out a little bit, but again, you're getting a little bit of light today. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.